shops had hired their seasonal staff already, and no one else was recruiting this close to Christmas. Peering through the window of the cafe, I watched as the shops and businesses turned on their lights, the high street springing to life, the post office, the off-licence, the beauty salon, the bookshop. Everyone else's day was starting, while I drank my coffee, ate my muffin, and pulled my computer out of my backpack. Everyone had somewhere to go, and something to do, except for me. Hands hovering over the ancient laptop as it clicked and whirred into life, I stared at the 2 rings I wore every day. The only jewellery I ever wore, really. On my left hand, my engagement ring from Stu, a dainty diamond affair shaped like a flower that had belonged to his beloved Nana Beryl before it was passed down to me with the most serious of strings attached. And on the 3rd finger of my right hand, my mum's gold wedding band. She'd be so disappointed, I thought, twisting it around and around and around. Susan Cooper hadn't spent so much as a day out of work, a fact she had been fiercely proud of, and the thought of letting her down when she wasn't here anymore felt like the worst possible failure. "Don't wait for things to happen," I whispered, attempting to stoke a fire that had all but burned out. "Make them happen." With some uncertainty, I slipped my earbuds into my ears and dialed a number I had not dialed in months. "Vine and Walsh, Rose speaking." "Rose, it's Fran Cooper," I said, straightening my shoulders and taking a deep, steadying breath. "How are you?" "I'm well, thank you. How are you?" The silky southern accent on the other end of the phone sounded surprised to hear from me, which was fair, given that I hadn't been in touch for the best part of a year. "Really well, but still looking for work." I tapped my fingers against the edge of the table, heart in my mouth. "I was wondering if you might have something for me." "I'll happily take a look," Rose replied. "But I'm fairly certain we don't have anything in your area, unless you've changed your mind about taking work outside South Yorkshire." And that was the reason I hadn't been in touch for the best part of a year. Vine and Walsh was an executive recruitment firm, not just your average temp agency, and every time I spoke with Rose, she told me about one incredible job after another, and I had to turn each and every one of them down. In my wildest professional fantasies, I was totally jet-set. I dreamed of travelling, seeing the world, of waking up to find I was the kind of woman who could pack 2 weeks' worth of clothes in a carry-on and could go from conference room B to the bar to an all-night karaoke party with nothing more than a swipe of red lipstick and a change of earrings. But after we moved back to Sheffield, Stu and I had both agreed we wouldn't travel for work. Admittedly, that deal was made 3 years ago when we were living in London, and there were a lot more jobs to choose from. But a deal is a deal, and it was made for a reason. So I kept my ambitions local. "Sorry, no," I said as my heart sank slowly back towards my feet. "Just thought it was worth checking in." As Rose let out a quiet, frustrated sigh, a new email from one of the local temp agencies appeared in my inbox. A vet in Brincliffe needed an office manager to do a 2-week holiday cover starting Christmas Eve. Utterly depressing, and still the best offer I'd had in months. "There is one thing, and you'd be perfect for it," Rose said, a note of possibility in her voice. "It would mean you'd have to travel, but it's very short term and the money is amazing. I need a personal assistant for a very, very, let me say this again, very high-profile client." I looked out of the window at the stone-clad buildings opposite, almost the exact same shade of grey as the sky above them. "How short term and how much money?" "Not even a week. It's 5 days. All your expenses would be covered, and the salary is very generous. Extremely generous. And the money isn't even the best part." I wound the cord from my earbuds around my finger and squeezed it tightly. Curiosity might have killed the cat, but perhaps I could get away with only being lightly maimed. "Okay," I said, breathing out slowly. "What's the catch?" Rose gave me a slightly maniacal laugh down the line. "Don't let this put you off, but I can't say. Fran, it's VVVIP. You'll have to sign a non-disclosure agreement before I can even send the job description over, and I'll need you down in London to interview ASAP, but if I were you, I would seriously consider this one. It could be a huge break. This is a life-changing opportunity." A powerful rush of adrenaline shot through my body, and I glanced at my cup to make sure it was definitely